Our story starts with a boy named Ren, and he's having a very bad day. He gets kicked out of his team, the Champions. The leader, a guy named Aras, tells him, "We don't want you on our team anymore. You can go now." Ren is super confused and asks, "Why? What did I do to get fired?" A girl on the team answers in a mean way, "Because you don't do anything. It doesn't matter if you're here or not. I told them we don't need a monster tamer. Now get out of here." Feeling really sad, Ren takes off his team uniform and leaves while the others laugh at him. After that, Ren has to figure out what to do. He just lost his job and the only place he had to live. While he's thinking, some little kids who like him come over. They ask, "When are you going on your next big adventure?" They want to see him do his cool trick, and Ren says okay. He uses his special power to talk to a flying eagle, making it wave hello to the kids. The children get so excited and say, "We want to be monster tamers just like you when we grow up." This makes Ren happy, but then one of the kids says, "Well, I'm going to be an adventurer." This gives Ren a great idea. He decides to go to the Adventurers Guild and sign up to become an adventurer. When he gets there, the lady at the desk tells him he has to pass a test first. The test is to beat 10 big monsters called ogres and collect 10 special healing plants. Ren says no problem and goes to take the test. When he finds the ogres, they're actually pretty weak and easy to fight. He gets their magic crystals and finds the plants he needs. Everything is going great, but then he hears a girl screaming from deep in the forest. He drops everything and runs to see what's wrong. He finds a giant tiger about to eat a girl. Ren jumps at the tiger to save her, but his knife breaks. The tiger gets angry and turns to attack Ren instead. Ren just smiles, thinking it's okay because now the girl can run away safely. But she doesn't run away. Instead, she flies into the air and hits the tiger with a super duper strong kick that breaks all its bones. Ren is amazed and asks, "Where did you get all that power?" He looks closer and realizes she is a cat spirit, one of the most special and powerful kinds of people in the world. But before he can even think about it, the tiger vanishes, and the girl faints and falls right in front of him. Ren rushes over and asks her, "Are you okay? Are you hungry?" Ren is a little surprised, but he takes out his lunch and gives it to her. The girl eats it all up happily, and then tells him, "My name is Kennedy." Ren asks her why she's here. She explains, "There aren't many of my kind, so we live all alone in the mountains. But it was so boring, so I left to have my own adventures. It was just good luck that I met you. Now it's your turn. Tell me about yourself." So Ren tells her his whole sad story about getting kicked out of the Champions team. Kennedy gets really mad for him and yells, "Those meanies, how could they do that to you?" Ren feels happy that she's so angry for him, but then she asks him something he never expected. "I want you to tame me." Ren is shocked. "How can I tame you? You're super rare and powerful. I don't think I'm strong enough." But Kennedy just smiles and says, "The first time I saw you, I could feel how strong you are. I know you can do it." Ren thinks for a second. He doesn't want to use her, but he knows she would be a great friend to have on his side. So Ren cuts his finger and uses his magic to make a special promise, a DR contract. Kennedy accepts, and just like that, their powers are linked. She looks at him and says, "Now we're connected forever." Ren is so excited and shakes her hand. This is the beginning of their adventures together. Ren goes back to the guild and gives the lady the stuff from his test. She tells him, "You did it. Congratulations, you're a real adventurer now." Ren is thrilled and gets his reward. When he tells Kennedy, she's super happy for him. But then, a guy from the guild starts trying to talk to Kennedy and she just ignores him. Ren steps in to tell the guy to leave her alone, but the man just says rudely, "This has nothing to do with you." This makes Kennedy mad and she says, "Don't you dare be mean to Ren. We're a team." The man just laughs. "You're with this weakling?" Kennedy fires back, "He's way stronger than you." The man smiles a mean smile and says, "If he's so strong, let's see him fight me. If he wins, I'll be quiet. But if he loses, I'm taking you with me." This makes Ren so mad. He thinks, "I don't care if people are mean to me, but nobody gets to be mean to my friends." He grabs the man's hand and the fight begins. In less than a second, Ren completely beats him and breaks his arm. And that's when a new truth becomes clear, because Ren made a promise with Kennedy. He now has all of her super strength. The lady from the guild comes and says sorry for what happened and says they might even kick that guy out of the guild. Ren thanks her, and then he and Kennedy head out to find new adventures. But during a mission, they hear screams coming from the woods. They hide and peek to see what's going on and find a big gang of bad guys attacking an old merchant. Kennedy knows who they are and tells Ren they're super dangerous. But Ren just smiles and says, "But I want to save him." Kennedy replies, "Okay, let's go get them together." Kennedy rushes in to protect the old man while Ren jumps on the gang, hitting them so hard that nobody can stop him. While Kennedy was watching Ren fight, she couldn't look away and wondered, why is my heart beating so fast? Her face turned red and it seemed like she was starting to fall in love with him. Meanwhile, Ren was beating the gang members one by one. He walked over to Kennedy and saw her red face and asked her why. She got embarrassed and mumbled, it's nothing, and then quickly asked him how he got so strong. He told her, I'm a monster tamer, so I had to learn how to fight all kinds of dangerous monsters. Kennedy nodded. They asked the old man why he was all alone in such a dangerous place. He told them he hired 3 guards, but they ran away as soon as the gang showed up. The old man warned them, you have to get out of here. That gang is huge, and if they find out what you did, they'll come after you. Ren just answered confidently. Then we just have to get rid of them before they can even think about it. Kennedy looked at him, amazed, and said, but there are more than 100 of them. How can we beat them by ourselves? Ren just smiled and said, don't worry, I have a plan. So Ren and Kennedy went to the gang's secret hideout and waited. Ren had used a special animal to find out where all the bad guys were. He turned to Kennedy and told her, go back to the city and tell the knights to come and get the bodies. Kennedy was surprised by how sure he was and said, be careful. Don't get hurt. He gave her a big smile and said, don't worry, they can't hurt me. Then he took out a special insect he had trained. If this insect stings someone, they can't move for 12 hours. The insect called all its friends while Kennedy went back to the city. Somewhere else, 3 of the gang members who ran away were talking. 2 of them were from the hero squad that kicked Ren out. One of the girls was mad at the 3rd guy and yelled, how could a tamer with only 1 squirrel survive out here? You should have tamed at least 10. The guy was shocked. How can I tame 10 monsters? That's impossible. The girl didn't believe him, but then she remembered how Ren could tame 20 animals at once like it was nothing, and she got quiet. Right then, Ren wasn't taming just 1 monster. He was controlling 100 monsters all at the same time. He told them to attack the gang and all the bad guys fell to the ground, completely frozen and unable to move. Kennedy came back with a bunch of knights who started to round up the gang members to take them to jail. But all of a sudden, everyone heard the sound of a giant monster smashing its way towards them. It started to attack them like crazy. Ren didn't back down. He fought it and beat it. But then more and more monsters started to show up and it looked like they were trapped. Ren yelled to everyone, get out of the cave right now. We'll handle the monsters. At first, the people were scared to leave, but they listened and ran out of the cave. Ren and Kennedy started fighting bravely, beating every monster that came at them until they were all gone. The people outside were worried, but soon Ren and Kennedy came out of the cave without a single scratch, and everyone cheered for their victory. Ren looked at everyone cheering and thought to himself, just 2 days ago I was all alone with no job and nobody cared about me. Now, everyone is celebrating with me. It's all because of you, Kennedy. Thank you for everything. Hearing this made Kennedy super happy and she smiled at him and said, you're welcome. And so the day ended and they went back to the city where Ren got his reward and rented a place for them to sleep. When they got to the inn, the owner told them there was only 1 room left. Kennedy had to agree to take it. Ren felt shy about sharing a room with her, so he was going to sleep outside. But Kennedy grabbed his hand and asked, where are you going? Stay here. Ren looked at her and said, it's not right for us to sleep in the same room. You're a girl and I'm a guy and you've only known me for 1 day. You can't trust me that fast? Kennedy just smiled and said, I trust you because I can feel that you're a good person, like me. You're not like the other people who tried to use me. Plus you're my master and I can't let my master sleep outside. Her words made him stay, but she asked him to turn around while she changed her clothes. He laughed and said, I'll close my eyes, don't worry. Then Ren went to sleep while Kennedy stayed awake, just looking at him. She was so happy thinking about her whole life and how she was always scared of people using her. But now, because of Ren, she felt safe for the first time ever. The next day, the 2 friends kept adventuring until the lady at the guild told them about a really hard job. There's a super scary monster at the big bridge that beats everyone who tries to cross. Whoever can beat it will get a huge reward. As soon as Ren heard about the reward, he said yes and went with Kennedy to the bridge to find the monster. When they got there, they were shocked to see a giant dragon right in front of them. But then the dragon fell to the ground and turned into a girl. She smiled and said, it's nice to have someone to play with. My name is Tanya, and I'm a dragon-like, one of the strongest kinds of people. Ren was totally shocked and asked, are you the one who's been attacking people here? Tanya smiled and said, yep, and now it's your turn. She attacked Ren super fast, but he was able to block her. She looked at him, surprised, and said, wow, you're good. That move knocked down half the people who came here before you. Then she stepped back and blew fire out of her mouth. This time the fire hit Kennedy's tail, which made her really mad, and she jumped in to fight with all her strength. Ren used this chance to get ready to fight Tanya too, but she saw them coming and grabbed both of them, flew them high into the air and threw them. She was about to hit them with a final big attack while they were falling, but Ren just laughed and told Kennedy, "Give me 3 minutes, and I'll take care of this." In those 3 minutes, Ren tamed one of the birds flying in the sky. When the time was up, he was ready to fight again. Tanya looked at him and said, "Finally, you're going to fight me." Ren smiled and said, "Not me, them." All of a sudden, swarms of birds came from everywhere and started attacking Tanya. She got angry and said, "Do you really think a dragon-like me can be beaten by a silly trick like this?" Ren laughed and said, "Those birds have a special sting that makes your whole body freeze for hours. You won't even be able to move your finger now." Tanya knew she was beaten and gave up. Ren was super excited. He took her to the guild and told them he beat the monster on the bridge. The guild lady was happy and said, "I'll give you the reward, but first I have to make sure you're telling the truth." Then she looked at Tanya and asked, "And who is this girl with you?" Tanya was about to say who she was, but Ren quickly covered her mouth and said, "She's just my follower, that's all." When they went outside, Ren explained to her, "If people knew you were the monster, they wouldn't leave you alone. My job is done, and I don't need anything from you. If you keep going, you'll get to another city where you can live in peace, but don't do what you did here again." Tanya looked at him, shocked, and said, "You're so kind, but I've decided I want to stay with you. Or, do you not want me?" Ren was surprised and Kennedy was a little jealous, but in the end, he agreed to let her join his team. He made a special promise with her, just like with Kennedy. Then, Tanya came close to Ren and said softly, "Please take good care of me, master." Meanwhile, the hero squad was in big trouble. They had been stuck in the Forest of Illusion for a whole week. One of the girls said, "If Ren were here, he would use his animals to get us through in a second." Aras just laughed in a mean way and said, "So what? Let's just ask him to come back. He has no pride, he'll come crawling back to us." At the same time, Ren and his friends were in the forest on a job to get rid of slime monsters that were ruining farmers' fields. The monsters were weak, but there were so many of them. Ren couldn't find where they were all coming from, so he told Kennedy and Tanya, "Just watch my body for a second. I'll find them." They didn't know what he meant, but he closed his eyes and sent his mind into a bird flying high in the sky. Then he told them, "Okay, watch me. I'm going to check where they're hiding and come right back." The girls were amazed by what he did, and he quickly found the spot where all the monsters were gathered. When they got there, Tanya told Ren to use fire magic on them. He said, "But I'm really bad at magic. My power is only level 1. Tanya smiled and said, "Just try it." Ren agreed, and all of a sudden, he shot out a huge, powerful fireball that wiped out all the monsters at once. Tanya looked at him, amazed, and said, "As a dragon-like, I have the second strongest magic power. Since you made a promise with me, you now have the same magic power that I do." Tanya started to teach him how to use magic, and even though she was a little strict, Ren learned it all. After they finished the job, they went back to the guild, and Ren turned in the monster gems and got his reward. Then they went for a walk in the city. That evening, Ren took the 2 girls out to dinner to celebrate Tanya joining their team, and all 3 of them had a great time. But then, Kennedy asked him, "What's the secret to your power with monsters, and where did you come from?" Ren was quiet for a moment, and then decided to tell them his story. He said, "I lived in a village filled with amazing monster tamers. My parents were tamers too. One day, I went into the forest to practice and get stronger. I lost track of time, and when I came back at night, I found my village was destroyed, and everyone who lived there was gone." He stopped for a second, then said in a quiet voice, "I was in so much shock, I just stood there until some soldiers came and took me with them. I grew up in another family and had to work every day just to eat. Then one day, I met the hero Eris and his friends, and they asked me to join their team. I was so happy. I finally felt like someone needed me. But Eris just saw me as a tool. He made me carry their bags, watch over the camp, and he just kept using me over and over again. I did all of it for nothing, until the day he decided to kick me off the team. You know the rest of the story." Kennedy was so sad for him, and told him, "Now I understand why you always try to face danger by yourself and leave us behind." Tanya felt sad for him too, and said, "You're too kind, but that's a beautiful thing about you." Ren was so moved he almost started to cry, but Kennedy and Tanya looked at him and said, "Don't worry about them. If we ever see them again, we will never forgive them." And that's how the day ended. The next day, the 3 friends went on a new mission to fight ogres as a team. Tanya started a competition to see who could beat the most. Ren warned her, "Wait, don't go too far, it could be dangerous." but she didn't listen to him, and said confidently, "No one can stop me." She ran into the fight not thinking about the danger, but all of a sudden, a giant ghoul grabbed her hand and pulled her to the ground. Tanya shot fire from her hands and beat it, but she didn't see another ogre that was sneaking up behind her. It almost got her, but Ren jumped in at the last second and took the hit for her, using his arm to protect her. Tanya felt so guilty and sad that she didn't listen to his warning, which led to him getting hurt. They went back to the guild and turned in the monster stones. Tanya couldn't stop thinking about what happened, so she went to the river, feeling confused and sad. She didn't know how to face Ren after she caused his injury. A little girl saw her and asked, "Why do you look so sad?" Tanya said, "I made a big mistake." The little girl smiled and said, "My mom always tells me that if I make a mistake, I have to say I'm sorry." Tanya was touched by her words, and when Ren came to check on her, she looked at him and said, "I'm sorry I didn't listen to you." Ren smiled and said, "If that's what's making you sad, it's okay. The important thing is that you're okay, but be more careful next time, because I might not be there to protect you." Tanya was so happy to hear him say that, and they went home to rest. Just like before, there was only one room to sleep in, which made Tanya feel closer to Ren. That night, she started to realize that she really admired him, and maybe even loved him. The next morning, on their way to a new job, they saw something they never expected. The hero squad was standing right in front of them. Ren was so shocked he couldn't move. Tanya and Kennedy didn't know who these people were. "Let's just get out of here," Ren whispered. But before he could move, he heard Eris's voice call out, "Don't be like that, my friend. We were buddies, weren't we? Or are you just mad because we called you worthless?" Tanya and Kennedy then realized they were face to face with the champion squad, and they got very angry. Eris noticed them and was shocked to see two of the most powerful kinds of people in the world hanging out with Ren. But Ren didn't care and told him to get to the point. "Say what you want. I don't have time for you." Eris smiled and said, "You know the Forest of Illusion, right?" Ren answered, worried. "What about it?" Eris continued. "We've been trying to get through it for a week, but we can't. And carrying all our bags is really hard, which is why we want you to come with us to use your animals to show us the way and to carry our stuff." Ren's face turned red with anger and he said sarcastically, "And you think I'm going to say yes to that ridiculous request? Let's go, girls. We don't have time for them." But one of the girls from the hero squad stopped him and said, "The forest has the shield of truth inside it, a magic tool that will help the hero beat the Demon King. If you say no, you'll be letting a lot of innocent people die." Ren looked at her and said, "You're really mean. You know I won't let anyone get hurt." At that moment, they grabbed his injured arm and squeezed it hard, which hurt a lot. Ren was angry but had to agree. "Okay, I'll help you." But Tanya and Kennedy said no way. Tanya angrily told them, "You kicked him out, and now you want his help? That'll only happen if you get on your knees and apologize to him." Eris got super angry and yelled, "You think that I, a hero, would apologize to a coward like him? Never." Then he looked at Ren and said with a mean smile, "Why don't you tell these animals to back off? They might be from strong groups, but they're still just monsters, right?" Ren couldn't hold back his anger anymore. He punched Eris right in the face and said, "These are my friends, and if you dare say anything mean about them again, you'll be sorry." Eris looked at him, full of rage, and said, "How dare a simple monster tamer hit me? Fine, I challenge you to a fight. My team against your team, and whoever loses has to obey the winner." Ren smiled confidently and said, "Okay, the battle has begun." Kennedy fought against the swordsman, Tanya took on the two girls from the team, and Ren's opponent was Eris himself. The fight was intense. The swordsman was very sure of himself and told Kennedy, "I've always wanted to fight someone from the stronger groups." But Kennedy was angry and said, "I'm going to make you say you're sorry to Ren for being mean to him." She rushed at him so fast that he was getting hit from all sides without being able to fight back. He put all his energy into his sword for a big attack, but she blocked it easily. She stepped back and made fun of him. "All that talk about your special moves, is that really all you've got?" The swordsman got mad and said, "I'll fight you with all my power." All his energy started to swirl around him, and Kennedy looked at him and said, "Finally," and started to get serious. "Okay, I'll only use half of my strength." In less than a second, she disappeared. Then she suddenly appeared right behind him, kicked him, and broke one of his bones, knocking him to the ground. Tanya started her battle against the two girls by teasing them, saying, "Come on, show me what you can do." They got mad and rushed at her with all their strength, but Tanya just snapped her fingers and their magic spells vanished. The girls were shocked, while Tanya laughed and said, "Is this the best you can do? My power is called physical cancellation, and it lets me erase any spell, no matter how strong it is." Tanya said, "So are you done?" The girls got even angrier, gathered all their power and attacked again, but it was no use. At that point, they didn't even want to fight anymore. Tanya continued, "Did you really think you could hurt Ren and I would just let you? No way. Now I'm going to show you what real magic looks like." The sky started to turn red and meteors appeared in the air. The girls were so scared by what they saw that they thought this was the end. They couldn't handle it and fainted. But Tanya didn't actually want to hurt them because she didn't want to make Ren sad. And just like that, she beat the two girls, leaving only Ren and Eris. "See who's going to win?" Eris said. "It was dumb to fight a hero like me. Get ready to die." But before he could finish, Ren rushed in and attacked him. Eris got angry and started attacking with his sword, which he was very good with, and he hit Ren a few times. But Ren hit him with a powerful punch that sent him flying back, and before Eris could even catch his breath, another punch smashed the rock behind him. He was shocked and said, "How did you get so strong?" Ren replied with a small smile, "This is the power of the monster tamer you made fun of. By the way, I've memorized all your moves." He then kicked him hard, sending him flying. Eris got really angry and shot a lightning spell at Ren, but Ren blocked it with his own magic, which was now super strong. Eris said, "That little spell won't stop the storm of spells I'm about to use," and he started shooting more and more magic attacks. Ren tried to dodge them and it looked like he was in trouble, or at least that's what he wanted Eris to think. As Eris attacked, he suddenly fell to the ground, his whole body feeling numb. Ren laughed. "Did you forget that I'm good at taming insects?" It turns out, Ren had an insect ready from the start of the fight, and let Eris hit him so the insect could get close enough to bite him. Eris fell to the ground and begged, "Forgive me, I'm sorry, I won't do it again." But do you think Ren would forgive him after he was so mean to his friends? Definitely not. Ren hit him with a powerful punch that smashed his face and the ground under him. Tanya and Kennedy ran over to him and they were all very happy about their victory. After they beat the champions team, Tanya made the girls apologize to Ren. Ars then told them about the Shield of Truth, which is in the Forest of Illusion and is protected by a monster. Ren said confidently, "Don't worry, I'll get it myself." Ren and his friends went into the forest to find the shield. Tanya had the idea to just burn the whole forest down to make it easier to find. But Ren stopped her, saying, "Easy there, Tanya." They kept going deeper into the forest and Ren decided to connect with another bird to find the way to the shield. After he did, he found its location and they continued on their journey. But they walked for a very long time and got nowhere. Kennedy said, "Are we going to walk forever? I'm tired." But before she could finish, she saw that the stone they had left as a marker was right in front of them again, which meant they had walked in a big circle. Tanya was amazed. "I'm sure we were going the right way. Something weird is happening here." Using her power to feel magic, she found out that a tree was sending out a tricky spell that was making them walk in a circle. Tanya said, "This tree is the reason. If we want to move forward, we have to break it first." She got excited, "Leave this to me," and got ready for a big attack. But suddenly she heard a voice say, "Leave this place." She froze in place and hid behind Ren, saying with fear, "What was that voice?" Before she could finish, a fairy appeared from inside the tree. Everyone just stood there, unable to believe what they were seeing. Ren said happily, "Hello," but the fairy looked at them angrily and said, "Leave this place right now." Ren told her, "We're looking for the Shield of Truth." She answered sharply, "I told you, leave." Ren tried to talk again, but she cut him off saying, "Are you leaving?" Or, all of a sudden, they all ran back into the forest. They couldn't believe a fairy was guarding the shield. Tanya told Ren, "She tricked us the first time, but if we go back now, we can beat her. Don't worry about her spells, I'll protect you." "But do you think Ren is going to hit a girl? I'm going to talk to her again first," Ren said. The girl yelled, "Are you crazy? She was going to kill us." Ren smiled and said, "I'll try to be friends with her." Everyone agreed and went back to talk to her. "I'm sorry," Ren said, "but I want something from you," the fairy said angrily. "It looks like you want to die here," Ren said quietly. "I just want to talk to you, that's all," but the fairy attacked him right away, and Ren didn't move from his spot but let her arrows hit him. The fairy asked him, amazed, "Why didn't you run away?" He answered, "I came here to talk. That's all." Then the fairy got angry again and attacked him with even stronger spells and was about to kill him. But Tanya and Kennedy rushed to protect him from the arrows. When the fairy saw that they were protecting him, she stopped her spells and asked, "Why are you defending him?" Kennedy answered, "I know fairies hate humans, but believe me, he's different from them. He's good." Tanya said to her, "And I promise you that's true." The fairy believed them and went to Ren to wake him up and then told him, "My name is Sora. It's nice to meet you." He answered, "My name is Ren, and it's an honor." They finally sat down together and he started telling her why they came to this place. Sora understood and told them, "You're looking for the Shield of Truth, right? That shield is in our village, the village of the fairies, and it's protected by a barrier that I made myself, and I won't let you in. But I can go and get the shield for you." Everyone was happy and said to her, "We agree." Sora went to get the shield and came back to give it to them, and then said, "You got the shield, now please leave." Ren replied, "Okay." and then took the girls with him and started to leave. But Sora wanted to tell them something, but she stopped herself. But Ren could feel that she wanted to say something. He went back to her and asked her, "What's wrong? Tell me." She was about to tell him what was hurting her, but stopped when she remembered that it could get them killed. As she was about to say it was nothing, Ren cut her off, saying, "It's okay. I'll help you even if I get hurt or lose my life. You helped me and got me the shield I was looking for, so let me help you back." Sora was very touched by his words and started to tell him her sad story. "I have a twin sister named Rona. She is different from me, but she is the person I am closest to. We were always here protecting our village together with the magic barrier we made, but one day a monster from the Demon King's army showed up and attacked us. We tried to fight him, but he was very strong and beat us. Rona sacrificed herself for me and let me escape while she was captured. Now she's locked up and I can't do anything to save her. I went to the village leader to ask for help, but he said no, saying the safety of all the fairies was more important than saving my sister. I know his decision was right, but I can't just leave her there without any help." Ren listened to her story and was very moved by it, then told her, "Don't worry, I'll bring your sister back to you soon, I promise." Sora was so touched that tears started to stream from her eyes as she hugged him. After that, the four of them made a plan to save Rona from the monster without her getting hurt. Sora stayed in the forest to protect her village, while Ren and his friends promised to bring her sister back safely. Ren got to the monster's location, and it looked very strong. He found Rona hanging from a tree in chains, unable to move. Ren used the fact that the monster was busy to attack it with all his strength, but magic attacks didn't hurt it. Kennedy jumped in and hit it with her foot. Then Ren joined her and punched it, but the monster wasn't affected. The monster realized they were there to save Rona, so it tried to hit her with a powerful blow to kill her. But Tanya jumped in at the last minute, freed her, and took her away. The monster got very angry and started to destroy everything around it, pushing Ren and Kennedy away. Ren quickly thought of a spell to distract the monster, calling a group of insects to get its attention. Then he turned to Kennedy and told her, "I want you to hit him with one blow after I cast this spell." Kennedy argued, "One blow won't be enough. He's already been hit 10 times and hasn't gone down." Ren confidently replied, "Don't worry, I've got this." He cast a strengthening spell on Kennedy and her body started to glow with powerful energy. Kennedy then rushed forward and hit the monster with her fist, completely destroying it until it disappeared. A few moments later, Tanya returned with Rona. Ren asked her what she thought of the spell, and she replied, "It's a strengthening spell I learned in my village." Kennedy was very happy, and everyone was filled with joy. Rona finally opened her eyes and ran to her sister, who hugged her, crying with happiness. Afterwards, Sora went up to Ren and said, "I don't know how to thank you for what you've done. You're really a one-of-a-kind person." Rona also thanked him, saying, "I don't know how I'll ever be able to repay you for this." Sora felt shy, and then they all started joking and laughing. In the end, Sora and Rona decided to leave the village because they couldn't forgive the people who had abandoned them. The only problem was that they didn't know the way out and had never left the village before. Kennedy suggested that they join their team, and the girls loved the idea and Ren agreed too. Rona asked Ren to make a contract with them, and he agreed, but he didn't know how to do it with fairies, as he had never done it before. Tanya encouraged him, saying, "Try, you have nothing to lose." Ren told her, "Okay," and then focused all his energy, and suddenly he figured it out and was able to make a contract with them. And so Sora and Rona joined the team, and everyone was happy. Ren then took the shield and went to the champions team to give it to them. Rise was shocked and couldn't believe that Ren had managed to get the shield in just 2 days. He said to him, "That's impossible. The shield can't be real, it must be a fake." But one of the girls on the team used a spell to check it and found out that it was really the real shield. Rise was very angry, while Ren took his reward for the job and said goodbye to them. But as he was leaving, a team member stopped him and asked, "How about joining our team again?" Ren was quiet for a moment, but Rise yelled in anger, "How dare you ask him to join us?" The young man replied, "Have you seen how strong he is? He got the shield that the 4 of us couldn't find in a whole week." The rest of the team agreed with the idea, and the young man went up to Ren again and asked him, "So, what do you think?" Ren didn't answer right away, but he looked at the girls and saw them reaching out to him and telling him, "Let's go." Ren snapped out of it, then said to them with a smirk, "Go back to you? That'll only happen in your dreams." The young man tried to convince him, "If you stay with us, you'll get fame and money that no one else can get." But Ren answered firmly, "I don't need anything from you, I already have everything I need." The champions team was furious that he said no, but Erase was the angriest of all. Still remembering Ren's punch, he muttered angrily, "I will never forgive him. I have to get rid of him for good." The day ended like that, and the next day Ren was sitting with his friends, talking about the Demon King and how he could be defeated. A long time ago, there was a very powerful demon king, and no one could beat him, Ren said. But one person got a great power that allowed him to seal and defeat the demon. That man became known as the hero, and one of his grandsons is Aras, and his power is supposed to get stronger over time to defeat the new demon king. But one of the girls asked him, "Why are we waiting for someone like Aras to beat him? Why don't we do it?" Ren answered, "Because your energy is normal and limited, while Aras's energy will grow over time, making him strong enough to kill him." But Sora jumped in, saying, "But the more deals you make with us, the stronger you both get, which means you might be able to become strong enough to defeat him." Ren was shocked by her words and said, "That's right." Kennedy was overjoyed and said excitedly, "Then you have to make a deal with everyone you meet and then become the hero who defeats the Demon King." But Ren laughed, "It's not that easy. Let's forget about this for now and just enjoy our adventures, and when the time comes, we'll see what we can do." Everyone agreed with him, and they were very happy. When they got back to the city, they went to sleep and woke up the next day to eat with Sora and Rona, who were very happy with the food. Then Ren said, "I made a lot of money from Arise and his friends, and it's time to spend it." Tanya suggested, "Why don't you buy a powerful weapon that will help you fight your enemies?" Ren liked the idea and agreed, so he took the girls with him and went to the blacksmith to have a weapon made. But on the way, Sora and Rona seemed worried about being around humans, but they slowly started to get used to it. When they got to the blacksmith's shop, they noticed that he was sad because of his customers. Ren started looking for a good weapon but felt that something was off. A customer came into the shop and asked for a strong sword, and the blacksmith gave him a regular sword, and then the customer left. Ren was angry and went to the blacksmith saying, "This sword is not good. You have better ones, so why did you give him this one?" The blacksmith was surprised by Ren's insight and was happy that someone finally noticed that the swords were not the real deal. He started to tell them why and said, "As a blacksmith, I think of the swords I make as my children, so I want to give them to people who really deserve them." Ren said to him, "Then why don't you give me one of those powerful weapons that you have hidden?" "Looks amazing," Antar replied sadly. "At first I would give my weapons to anyone who asked for them, but I found them throwing them in the streets and coming back to ask for others without any appreciation for their real value." Ren was moved by his words and said, "So can you make me a powerful weapon?" Antar agreed but said, "There is only one problem." Ren asked him, "What is it?" Antar replied, "I don't have the materials to make weapons." Ren said, "And where can we find them?" "I have a mine that I got from my family, but I can't find anything in it anymore, and I think someone is stealing from it," Antar said. Ren said, "So what's the solution?" The blacksmith gave them a job to go to the mine and get the materials back, and Ren enthusiastically agreed, and the blacksmith was very happy. They went to the guild and told the employee that they would do the job for Antar, and she gave them her approval. When they got to the mine, Ren noticed a strange bird flying above them. As they were talking, two people came out of the mine and attacked them, but Kennedy and Tanya fought them until they were knocked out. Then Sora and Rona used their magic power to figure out how many people were still inside the mine, only to find out that there were 3 more, including a monster Tamer. Then Ren said, "We've beaten 2, and there are still 3 inside, including someone who can tame monsters. Get ready to attack because they will be strong." They went into the mine and the thieves started to attack them hard, but Sora and Rona used their magic power to block their hits. Everyone attacked again, but Tanya and Kennedy managed to beat them. Ren then reached their leader and told him, "Give yourself up calmly and don't cause any more trouble." The boy refused to give up and attacked Ren, but Ren hit him hard in the stomach. The boy got very angry and said, "I will never forgive that old man for what he did to me." Suddenly he used his power, and at that moment they heard the sound of a monster coming towards them. Everyone was shocked and they couldn't believe that this boy had tamed that monster in the first place. Ren asked him, "How did you manage to tame him? Taming monsters is impossible for humans." The boy replied confidently, "I found him when he was still young, so he wasn't hostile towards me. Now get ready because you're going to die." The monster began to attack and Ren was trying to dodge his quick strikes, but the mine was slowly collapsing because of the strong attacks. Ren looked at Kennedy and said, "Get everyone out of here." Kennedy understood and took everyone out of the mine, leaving Ren alone with the monster. Ren was trying to avoid the hits, but the situation was getting worse. At that moment, Kennedy agreed with Tanya to protect the rescued people and then decided to go back to help Ren. She reached him at the last minute and saved him from the monster. Ren told her, "Listen, I want you to do exactly what I tell you." She replied, "Okay, what's the plan?" He told her, "The quickest way to beat the beast now is to defeat its tamer first. So I will fight the beast and you will make him cancel its orders." Kennedy agreed and the two began attacking together. Ren became able to predict the monster's movements, so he began to skillfully dodge his attacks. At the same time, Kennedy grabbed the boy and held him in place. Ren told him, "Give up, you can't win." But the boy shouted angrily, "Over my dead body," and then ordered the beast to attack Ren more fiercely. Ren was in a tough spot and the mine was collapsing more and more. While dodging the blows, he got an idea. Can I tame this monster myself? He knew it was impossible, but he had no other choice. He decided to risk everything for that step. Ren stood still, and the monster was about to kill him. Kennedy was terrified, but suddenly the monster stopped moving. Yes, Ren was able to tame him. The boy was shocked by what had happened and said in amazement, "How did you do that? I am the most powerful monster tamer on Earth. No one but me can tame this monster." But not only did he tame him, but Ren also completely erased his control over the monster. The boy couldn't understand what was happening, so he began to give repeated orders to the monster. But it didn't respond. Instead, the monster attacked its owner and tried to kill him. At the last minute, Ren intervened and struck a fatal blow to the monster, finishing it completely. Then he looked at the boy and said, "You caused the monster to get agitated because of your many orders, and that would have killed you." Then he added, "Now come with me quietly and tell me everything." They took him with them, and he began to tell them why he had done all this. It turned out that Antar had previously given him and his friends regular weapons, but they didn't help him in any of his jobs. Realizing that he had been tricked, he decided not to let Antar work as a blacksmith again and began stealing from his mine as revenge. Ren understood the situation, then went to Antar and told him everything. Antar felt sorry and said, "I made a mistake in what I did to him." Then he decided to make real weapons for everyone, and the first to get them was Ren. Ren told him the specifications he wanted, and things finally got back to normal. But on the other hand, the hero Aris was holding a competition to pick new members for his team. Many people came to apply, but he didn't accept anyone. Comparing them all to Ren, and anyone weaker than him was immediately rejected. The girl who works with him tried to convince him not to compare, but he got angry with her, causing her to step back in fear and say, "I'm sorry, do what you think is right." When she left, Aras took a cursed ring out of his desk drawer and said in a low voice, "I will not leave you. I will kill you soon." Ren felt that. Meanwhile, Ren had returned to the guild to ask about what happened to the people who were arrested. The clerk told him all the details, and he shook his head and said, "Okay," but obviously he was sad because he didn't want them to be imprisoned. Sora and Rona noticed this, so they tried to cheer him up and took him for a walk. Everyone felt happy and had fun, and Ren bought them some food, which they were very happy with. He then asked them what kind of power he got from making a contract with them, but he replied that he did not know yet. The girls felt frustrated, but he gently patted their heads so they cheered up again and happily resumed their outing. But as they were returning home, the son of the governor of the region suddenly appeared. He saw Sora and Rona and liked how they looked, so he asked for their names. After they answered, he boldly told them, "I want you to be my servants." Everyone was shocked and no one understood what was going on. Ren came forward and asked him angrily, "And who are you and what do you want from them?" The boy replied arrogantly, "I am the son of the ruler of this state, and what I want, I get by force." Anger flared in Ren's eyes, and he said to him firmly, "You won't take one of them." The boy became very angry and ordered his guards to attack Ren and take the girls by force. But Ren didn't give them any chance. He started smashing them one by one, setting an example for everyone. The governor's son got very angry and said to Ren, "If you don't hand me the girls, I'll kill all the people who are here." Ren looked at him in shock and said, "What does that have to do with anything? Are you out of your mind? How will you kill your own people?" The arrogant boy laughed. "I'm free. I do what I want. If you don't bring me the girls now, I'll kill them all." Ren was confused and did not know how to save these innocent people. Sora and Rona suggested helping him, but he refused, fearing people would discover their truth as fairies. Ren was standing hesitantly, but suddenly a new spell appeared in his mind because of his contract with Sora and Rona. Ren controlled the spell, creating a huge number of fireballs and firing them at all the soldiers, saving people in just a few seconds. The governor's son was shocked and could not believe what was happening in front of him. Then Ren lifted him by the neck and said sharply, "If I see you again, this will be your end." Terrified, the boy gathered his soldiers and fled the entire place. Then Sora and Rona warmly thanked Ren, and they were very happy. The townspeople approached and thanked him as well, making him feel proud. But suddenly an old woman walked up to him and whispered, "You must flee the city immediately." Ren was surprised but soon realized why the old woman told him that the ruler is completely corrupt, covering up his son's crimes. The boy would kidnap any girl he liked, take her to the palace to assault her, then torture her and make her his servant. If anyone tried to file a complaint against him, the knights would cancel it so he could continue to do whatever he wanted with impunity. The situation in the city was completely rotten. Ren returned to Tanya and Kennedy and told them everything. Anger flared in Tanya's heart and she said, "We must burn the palace with everyone in it." But Ren stopped her, saying, "We have to think rationally first." We can't destroy the city, and I can't do anything that puts you in danger or takes you away from me." Ren wanted to save all the townspeople, but he was also worried about the girls and wanted to protect them. He thought of escaping with them from the city, but they rejected the idea. Sora said to him, "Don't be afraid for us, let us help you. We know you want to protect us, but we love the people of this city, and we want to save them too." Ren was moved by their words and was finally convinced. On the other hand, the prince in his palace was very angry at what Ren had done. He summoned the cavalry commander, ordered him to capture Ren immediately, and then offered him a huge bribe to make the task easier. After that, his office bell rang, and one of the enslaved girls entered. He started beating her violently while she could do nothing but cry. He enjoyed humiliating her. The next day, Ren went to the cavalry to file a complaint against the governor's son, but the girl who worked there was shocked by his words and did not write anything. Before Ren could say more, a group of riders appeared behind him, and one said, "We heard everything. It was just a simple fight, nothing more." Ren became angry and realized that everyone was complicit in this corrupt circle. But in the corner of the place, there was a girl eavesdropping on the conversation, and she seemed to be hiding something. When they left the guild, the girl went out and followed them and then apologized for the actions of the cavalry. She told them, "I know that the ruler is corrupt, and most of the knights work for him because of money. Everyone is a traitor except for me and a few loyal individuals. I want to restore the dignity of the city and the guild, and I need your help to make that happen." Ren was suspicious of her intentions, but Kennedy told him, "I feel like she's a good girl." The girl introduced herself, saying, "My name is Stella." Ren reached out to her and said, "Okay, let's start working together." Tears streamed from Stella's eyes from joy. Everyone began to draw up a plan to restore the cavalry guild and capture all the traitors. They spread a rumor among the people that there is evidence hidden in one of the old warehouses that can prove the betrayal of the ruler. When the knights heard this, they decided to head to the warehouse at night to get rid of any evidence against him, which was exactly what Ren wanted. Once inside the warehouse, Ren began to eliminate them one by one. Some tried to flee through the back door, but it was locked with ice to prevent them from escaping. Ren used the glove Antar had made for him and began to eliminate the cavalry, but their commander was very strong and was able to repel his attacks easily. Stella asked Ren to let her fight him, and he agreed. She walked up to him and said, "Give up. You have no escape now." The commander got angry and shouted, "In your dreams," and then punched her to the ground. Ren worried about her, but she got up again, and the anger was evident in her eyes. She attacked him with full force and managed to defeat him. Thus, Ren and his friends triumphed, and the cavalry guild was restored. All that was left with them was the governor and his son. When the prince learned what had happened and that Stella had defeated the cavalry commander, he realized that he had lost all his support. He burst out in anger and began beating one of the enslaved girls as if it were just something to empty his anger into. But suddenly, a mysterious person wearing a black cloak appeared, sitting in the window, and said to him in a quiet voice, "You know who will completely ruin your life. It's Ren Schrode. If you don't get rid of him now, he will take everything from you, and your life will end in prison, shunned, with no one on your side." The prince backed down and asked, "Who are you, and why did you come here?" The mysterious man smiled and threw a cursed ring at him, then said, "This is a cursed tool that kills its target immediately. Take it and take Ren quickly." The prince looked at the ring. His features began to fill with greed, and he was overwhelmed with the joy of revenge. The prince looked out the window but did not find the mysterious man, as if he had disappeared in a flash. He felt that a catastrophe was imminent. At the time, the girl who had been tortured by the prince was being held in her cell, barely able to move from the intensity of the beating, and she prayed to God that someone would come to her rescue. Indeed, Stella arrived with her soldiers at the palace gate to arrest the ruler and his son for their corruption. But palace guards refused to let them in and mobilized large numbers of soldiers to confront them. But Kennedy and Tanya were on the lookout for these soldiers. As the prince watched the battlefield, he was eagerly awaiting Ren's appearance so he could use the cursed ring to kill him. The atmosphere was tense, and everything suggested that things would soon turn upside down. Meanwhile, Ren arrived at the palace using the camouflage spell done by Sora and Rona, and then asked them to sneak into the palace and find the whereabouts of the captives to rescue them. The girls used a monitoring spell and indeed were able to locate the prisoners, but were surprised by the presence of a very dangerous entity in one of the palace prisons. Sora said anxiously to him, "Ren, there's a very strong energy in one of the cells. It seems to be one of the strongest categories like us." Ren answered her firmly, "Free the captives and save them. I'm going to go to the power source and see what's going on there." The girls were scared, but he reassured them, "Don't worry, I'll come back safely." Then he went to the unknown power source. When he opened the door, he found a girl trapped inside a cell, visible marks of torture on her body. Ren broke down the cell door and rushed towards her to help her. The girl was terrified and didn't know how to act, but he calmly told her, "Don't worry, I'm here to save you." The girl broke down in tears and fell on his lap. It turned out later that her name was Nena, and she was one of the most powerful beings of all time. She told her story to Ren, crying, "I used to live in a peaceful village, and everyone loved me. But the prince came one day and threatened me that he would torture all the people of my village in front of me and kill them if I did not surrender myself to him. I had no choice, so I put on the bondage bracelet and became a prisoner with him, subjected to all forms of torture." Ren was angry and moved by her words, then firmly told her, "Don't worry, you'll be freed now," but Nena backed down, saying, "You can't. The bracelet has a very dangerous spell on it, and if you try to remove it, you may die." Ren smiled confidently and said, "Don't worry, I'll deal with it." Nena surrendered to him, and Ren began to untie the bracelet, but as soon as he touched him, the spell unleashed violent electric shocks that swept through his entire body. Nena shouted, "Stop, you're going to die." But do you think Ren will back down after everything that happened to her? He gathered all his strength, focused his full energy, and finally he managed to break the bracelet and save her. Nena was stunned by what he had done and thanked him with tears of joy. At that moment, the battle outside the palace was raging. The cavalry was fighting the guards, and Kennedy and Tanya managed to eliminate half of the guards alone, but the large numbers were still a threat. Some guards tried to use the captives as hostages, but Sora and Rona quickly confronted them after moving all the abductees to safety. Meanwhile, the governor walked into the prince's room and asked him, "What's going on?" The prince smiled maliciously and said, "Don't worry, just a bunch of insects. I'll wipe them out myself. You run away and leave them to me." The governor nodded, took his bag, and began to run away. Meanwhile, Ren and Nena had met Kennedy and Tanya inside the palace. Everyone was surprised to find Nena with Ren, but soon realized that she had become their ally. Kennedy approached Nena and joked, "Well, you look stronger than I expected." Everyone laughed and felt that things were starting to work in their favor. Suddenly, the governor appeared trying to escape from the palace, but they stopped and disarmed him. Now only the prince is left. Indeed, the prince appeared in front of them and then used the cursed ring. A spirit-reaping spirit appeared in front of Ren, holding the sickle of death as if preparing to end his life. Is this really the end of it? On the roof of the palace, Eris was listening to what was happening. He smiled maliciously and said, "Finally, I got rid of you, Ren." Then he turned around and left the place. But contrary to expectations, Ren is not dead. He didn't even get hurt. Everyone was shocked. How did that happen? It turns out that due to Ren's contract with Sora and Rona, he acquired two main powers from Sora: the ability to control magic, which he previously used to protect people from the attack of the prince. From Rona, the ability to analyze spells and protect oneself from them, even if it is the spell of the Death Scythe. Rona had figured it out earlier. She even tried a poisonous spell on him, but he wasn't affected by it. The prince could not believe what had happened, and his anger flared even more. But when he looked at Ren and saw Nena standing next to him, his hatred exploded unnaturally. The cursed ring in his hand began to glow. He fulfilled all the conditions for activation. An ominous energy came out of him that began to swallow the prince completely. Everyone stood stunned. Even Ren couldn't believe what was happening. He tried to attack the mysterious energy, but there was no use. And suddenly, the energy froze and began to break. A giant hand appeared from within. It was so huge that everyone froze in their places, from the horror of the view. After that, the whole body appeared. Ren's eyes widened, and he froze in place. He knew this being. He is the demon who killed his parents and completely destroyed his village. It seems that a major catastrophe is about to happen now. The demon looked at Ren and his companions and said with a malicious smile, "I was thinking about killing you now, but I think I'll go and enjoy killing more first." He then left for the center of the capital where there are the largest number of people to begin another bloody massacre. Ren and his team were outraged and realized they had to move quickly to save the innocent. They had no choice but to catch up with the demon and stop him at all costs. At the same time, Stella was tasked with protecting Nena, evacuating the city's residents to safe places. When they reached the demon's position, they found that he had already begun to kill and destroy, crushing everyone who encountered him without mercy. The demon turned to them with a wry smile and said, "Good, you have come to entertain me." But Kennedy didn't wait for him to finish, so she ran towards him and gave him a powerful kick that knocked him down, while Ren took advantage of the opportunity and tied him up with his weapon. But the demon was very powerful, and he easily managed to free himself. At that moment, Sora and Rona launched a huge ice spell which completely covered the earth with a layer of ice. But the surprise was that the demon was not hurt at all. He laughed sarcastically and told them, "Fighting 5 against 1? That's not fair. I think I need some help." He He then summoned a massive army of monsters, and they began attacking Ren and his team. At first, they were able to repel attacks, but the numbers never ended. The demon seized the opportunity and dealt an ominous magic blow to Kennedy, which severely injured her. Ren, Sora, and Rona rushed to her to treat her while Tanya tried to fend off the magic in any way, but she was also injured even though her dragon spirit protected her from the full impact of the attack. Then the demon raised his hands to heaven and unleashed a magic spell that split into several parts and fell on the city. Ren got very angry and fired magic shots. At the same time, Sora and Rona used the fairy magic to restrict him, giving Ren the opportunity to use the reinforcement spell on Kennedy and Tanya. He told them, "Now finish him." The two girls jumped towards the demon, directing a barrage of attacks at him, severely injuring him and throwing him into the sky. Then followed another attack with the magic of the fairies, which led to the amputation of his arm. But even this was not enough to defeat him. The demon summoned more monsters until the place was completely filled with them, and then withdrew to a high place to start a devastating spell that could wipe out the entire city. At this moment, Ren had an idea, but it was impossible to implement in the current chaos. Sora and Rona decided to move the residents to safe places while Kennedy and Tanya provided support and protection to Ren. As he fought, the fairies arrived at Stella, who was fiercely fighting the monsters, and they told her the plan. Stella understood the situation and immediately began to gather civilians and guide them towards the transition gate created by Sora and Rona. Nana stayed with the girls to protect them. Meanwhile, Kennedy and Tanya were fighting monsters fiercely, prompting Ren to try to help them, but they told him he had to save his energy to confront the demon. Sora and Rona had completed the transition gate, but the residents were reluctant to cross, especially after learning of the fact that it was created by fairies. But because of what Ren and the girls did to protect the city, people began to take courage, agreeing to cross quickly before the monsters reached them. On the other side, Ren and his companions had been trapped by endless monsters, but before the fight began, the cavalry arrived in full force to join the battle. An official order had been issued by the guild to help the Ren team eliminate the demon, after it turned out that the fake hero and his team were hiding without moving. Antar, the powerful blacksmith, was distributing real weapons to everyone, making the battle more balanced. At that moment, Nana was upset because she was the only one who had not helped yet, even though she was one of the strongest categories. Therefore, she decided to leave Sora and Rona and head towards Ren, who was trying to perform a special spell on the demon but was unable to due to the large distance between them. She needed a spell to convey it directly to the demon, but who can do that? Of course, Nana, as the fox spirit, it has a unique ability to navigate instantly wherever you want. When Ren realized this, he asked her to help him, and she immediately agreed. While Kennedy and Tanya were battling monsters, Ren carried Nana on his back, then they quickly set off towards the demon. The demon saw them and tried to hit them, but Ren used his weapon to dodge attacks brilliantly. This is where our video comes to an end. Subscribe for more anime recaps.